So you've probably heard the term digital real estate, but you don't really know what that refers to or what it means. Now, some people refer to it as digital bridges or digital assets. That's a term I personally like. If you compare it to any asset within your business, like for instance, your office, your car, your computers, that all adds value to your business, and so does your digital real estate. Now, why is digital real estate so important? I'm going to tell you. If you go look at the world as a whole, it's massive. Most of you have either traveled to maybe one or two countries. A lot of you haven't even been outside of South African borders. But if you go onto your computer, onto Google or any other search engine, and you search various countries, you will find out that there's hundreds of places, maybe thousands of places that you have not seen. By going onto Google and searching the places that you would want to see, you can get a pretty clear idea of what they look like. Now, that is because of digital real estate and digital marketing. People take photos and they post it on the internet. They post it on various platforms, which we'll get to very shortly. And they use that for their marketing purposes. They want to hook you as a consumer or as a person that could possibly come and visit their countries or their venues or their locations by really making it appealing for you to want to go there. Just like those locations or those countries or let's call it a hotel. Your product and your business or your brand as such should be out there for the world to see. You should make it appealing for people to want to buy your product. By doing that, obviously you are going to create a necessity for people to want your product. One could say that digital real estate or the digital space has actually made the world a lot smaller. You can now access various things that you would normally, or a couple of years ago, never have dreamt to be able to access. Let's take a couple of examples. Takealot for one of those. Macro is another example. You don't have to actually be in a store to be able to buy something. Now, if you go onto a website like Takealot, or you go onto a website like Macro, what draws you to a specific product that you would want? It's the image. It's crystal clear photographs. It's good quality photographs, sometimes videos. And that's basically one of the topics that we are going to be talking about today. Now, before we get to videos and photographs and basic graphic design, let's go look at the various avenues that you have to market and to build your digital real estate. And what we're going to talk about in this presentation is also free of charge. You don't need money to access these platforms and to actually make a profit or to market on them. How great is that? So let's look at the various avenues you have to market your product or brand on. And what I'm going to show you right now is also free of charge. They don't charge you to get onto these platforms and to market on these platforms. Obviously, there's certain ways like boosting of posts or adverts, Google ads, everyone's heard that term. But do you really need to use them? That's the big question, especially if you're a startup company, a small company, or let's not talk about the dreaded word COVID. We've all lost so much. So what I'm going to show you are platforms that you can use to get your business out there, improve on your digital real estate for free. So let's go look at the various avenues. Number 1, Facebook. Number 2, Instagram. Number 3, LinkedIn. Number 4, Twitter. Number 5, Google or Google My Business. And various other platforms, including website. So let's talk about your website. A lot of people will say to you, why do you need a website? It's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. I'm here to tell you it's not. 5 years ago, when it was in the boom of social media, you didn't need a website. People started moving away from website. But in recent years, we have found that people want your hub. They want to go to a place where they can read up on who you are, what services you offer, read reviews, and on a reputable site, not something like Facebook that a lot of people are saying spreads false news. On your website, you can put contact forms, you can put a map to your offices if you want. Now, part of your digital real estate is the fact that you have to be credible. And that's why it's so important on your website to share good quality photographs and imaging and even videos of the services you offer. All this builds credibility and trust. And if you go look at a brand like, let's say, Coca-Cola, I always use this. It's a trusted and reputable brand. People know if they buy Coca-Cola, what it's going to taste like and that they're going to get quality. Now, your brand should be exactly the same. And your website is where people will go to through all your various platforms to go see how credible you are. Your website is much more than just imaging and words and code. It's also got to do with search engine optimization. What people don't understand, and we're going to get more into detail when we get to the social media part of this, but what people don't understand on the website is that you can't just go write a bunch of stuff and expect your website to work. You have to put research and effort and time and nurture into your website. You have to do keyword research. You have to do key phrase research. You've got to do search engine optimization, because what people don't understand is that your search engines are not humans. They are computers. Now, people always say computers will do what computers can. Now, one of the things that computers can do is actually send little bots to read on your website and say what the content is on there. That gets pulled through to your search engines and voila, people can see what you're talking about. Now, if you go select your keywords, your key phrases, and of course optimize your website as per what people are searching for, I can almost guarantee you that people will get to your website. And then from there on, it's up to you to sell your product. Now, other than your website, let's talk about the exciting, incredible digital real estate little helpers that you've got out there called social media platforms. Like, for instance, probably the biggest one you're going to think of is Facebook. Now, Facebook came into the market probably about 10, 15 years ago, if I've got to remember. And they gave you an amazing platform where you could link up with old friends, people you went to school with, people that aren't even in your close vicinity anymore. Now you're going to say, yeah, but there was always Skype. Skype is also a social media platform that you could have, but it was more a one-on-one conversation that you could do with video. With Facebook, you could share photos, you could build memories and share it with people all over the world. Then you got LinkedIn, which is my personal favorite and very crucial for business. So we will talk about that very shortly. Other than that, we've got Instagram, which is a lot about imaging. We've got Twitter, and I like to always say Twitter is a nice platform for you to have a conversation with yourself. But in recent months, probably since Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp went down, Twitter had an incredible boom when it comes to business, where people are starting to share and tag about experiences there as well. Let's go look at the latest addition to social media, which is TikTok. Now, if you've ever been on TikTok, you will see a lot of little fun videos and people making fun of themselves and fun of their circumstances and voiceovers over funny little videos and stuff like that. Now, during COVID, I think it became really popular because a lot of people were stuck at home during lockdown, and it's become very popular for certain industries and certain businesses to advertise on as well. But we have found that TikTok is amazing if you've got a visual product, like a car if you're a car manufacturer, that works if you can put a funny video together and you put it on there. The list of your social media platforms goes on and on and on and on, and I can talk the whole day about it. Now, let's go look at my personal favorite, which is LinkedIn and Google My Business. As a businessman, those are the two platforms that you have to utilize. And yes, you do get the paid for versions, but I've never ever had to pay a cent for what I do on LinkedIn. And through LinkedIn and through Google My Business, your lead generation possibilities are massive. In recent years, it's been proven that if you control and if you use your LinkedIn, and let me call it optimize your LinkedIn and your Google My Business properly, and it works with your website, you can almost guarantee yourselves to get various business leads and market your business for free. And all this adds to your digital real estate or your digital space or your digital assets. Now, let's go look at something I mentioned earlier. Your keywords and your key phrases and your optimization. That's a word I use a lot, optimization. Keywords are the words, like I said earlier, that people talk about, they Google about, they want to find out more about. Now, it's important for you to go do the necessary keyword research or key phrase research. A phrase is a bunch of words together that makes a phrase that you can use to market your business and basically pull people towards your product. Now, I'm not going to go into detail on how you search for keywords and key phrases. I've got a course for that. But what I do want to say is that keyword and key phrase research and optimization, along with hashtag research, which is a completely different thing, is vitally important to draw people like that. Let's call it the billboard of social media. The billboard of LinkedIn is your keyword and your key phrase research. So you're now sitting here thinking to yourself, it's all fun and well, Emanuel. You are saying, I've got to use social media, I've got to use a website, I've got to use all these platforms, but I'm not computer literate or I'm not tech savvy. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to have a degree to understand how social media works. What you have to do is start doing it and learning as you go along. If you really battle, you do a course or two just to learn how to do it. Now, another very, very important part of social media optimization, and a vital part of your digital real estate is your branding. If you go look at buying an office building or go and buy a house, what do you look at? You look firstly at the exterior, you look at the paintwork, you want to see whether there are cracks in the wall. Now, why do people spend so little time on their brand or their corporate identity? There's another term for you. If you go look at buying a house, if the first thing you're going to look at is whether it's got cracks in the wall, whether the garden looks beautiful, why do you allow your business to have bad branding, bad imaging, pixelated imaging? Let's talk about pixelated imaging, or bad videos. While we are talking about real estate in the form of a property, you've got your running costs, you've got water, you've got electricity. Every now and then you have to get a plumber out to clear the drains. So why don't you spend more time maintaining your own digital real estate, your social media, your brand identity, your website? I mentioned a term a little bit earlier called the work from home revolution, and that's exactly how you say it, work from home revolution. A lot more people have given up their corporate properties or their offices, and they're working from home because it's a lot cheaper, it's a lot more convenient. And during COVID, they have realized that it is able to do so. You can work from home. So what you need to do is invest in technology. You need to, number one, invest in yourself, get to know your social media, but you also need to invest in programs like Zoom or Microsoft Teams or any of those platforms, because you are from time to time going to have to meet with people. Now, we all miss the face-to-face interaction, but I'm sorry to tell you that things have changed. People have gotten used to doing a quick Zoom meeting with a client or doing a Microsoft Team meeting with a client. So you're going to have to invest in that. But have you done a meeting where you face-to-face with someone on your computer and their webcam and their lighting is so terrible that you can't actually see what they say? A webcam is not expensive. A basic ring light is not expensive. So those are things that you need to get to make your digital real estate boom. Photography. Let's talk about photography and videography. In your business, it's important to have decent corporate photos taken. It's important to have a business or corporate video that's out on social media or even mainstream media if you can afford it, but that has gotten very expensive. Spend a bit of time and money to get these into place, because I promise you, when people see a good video about your business, or they see good advertisements with good branding and good quality imaging, they would want to do business with you. They put a lot of value on the quality of things you put out there. Because let's face it, if you don't put quality in your branding, how can you expect people to believe that you're going to have a quality product? I've given you a lot of information when it comes to digital real estate and what it is. So I think you have a clear idea of what digital real estate or digital asset is. So what I want you to do is to go think carefully. Create a roadmap of where you want to be. Do a pros and cons. Do a, what do they call it, a spider diagram. If you were at school, you will remember they were talking about a spider diagram where you get a little topic and you have little lines going out with various subtopics that you can talk about. Now, your social media or your digital real estate works exactly the same. Make a note of what you want to accomplish. What product do you have to sell and how do you want to sell it? Go look at what the important points are in your marketing plan or how you're going to sell. And the best way to do that is look at all the pros that your product has. Go list them. And every single one of those pros can be a social media post that you can put on all different platforms. Now, I've mentioned about algorithms, and algorithms is basically the code that reads what you post on social media. And there's a lot of tricks of the trade that you can learn. But the fact of the matter is you need to remember that every single social media platform has a different algorithm that basically reads what you've posted. So you can't just go and do a general post on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and on Facebook and expect all of them to work. You have to go do keyword research, hashtag research, key phrase research to make sure that you know what people want before you go do your post. Go look at other people posting on LinkedIn that are successful. Go follow the right people, the same on Facebook and on Instagram, and go see what they do right. Learn from the best. What's it saying? Imitation is the best form of flattery. And it's true. It's absolutely true. So use what you've got. Follow people. Learn from them. It's not going to cost you a cent. And before I move over to my next part of the program, do not pay for adverts. I'm going to explain to you why very briefly. A social media platform like Facebook, very simple. It's a free platform. You don't pay to be on there. But think about it carefully. They advertise or they push you every now and then, boost a post. Now you go and even if you spend 200 Rand, those algorithms have now read the fact that you're willing to spend money. So why would they all of a sudden, if you decide to switch your ad off and go back to your normal way of sharing, organic sharing, and you can go onto our website, www.epdigital.co.za, contact us and we can explain to you what organic sharing is. But Why would you think you can go back to normal if your algorithm already says but you're willing to pay for something? They block you around every corner. And that's why a lot of people that have spent a lot of money boosting posts on Facebook and on LinkedIn, all of a sudden when they don't have the money to spend anymore, they realize, but oh, people aren't seeing my posts. It's because the algorithm has changed and reads that you were willing to spend money. So number one, don't do it. If you have done it in the past, start organic sharing. Start liking the groups that's relevant to your product and share on those groups. Continue sharing. Don't give up. If you're going to give up, you're never going to know whether you were close to your goal. So now for my next part of the presentation, we are here for the Minichess Symposium. And what's very, very important is for me to share with you guys what we have done over the last couple of months since EP Digital got involved with Minichess franchise holdings, and explain to you where we were and where we are in a very brief couple of months. So let's do it. All right, so let's get at it. Obviously, we don't have a lot of time today, and there are so many amazing people that's giving their presentations at the symposium today. So I'm going to get right to it. Let's start with our biggest social media platform, which is, of course, Facebook. I'm very proud to say that since EP Digital got involved and took over the social media optimization and organic sharing of Minichess, we have reached more than 192,000 people on Facebook. Those are organic people, real people on Facebook that has seen our posts and that has interacted with our posts. Every single post we do, we try and link it back to our website, which we call our hub, so that they can read more about Minichess, fill in a contact form, download our Minichess guide, which is so crucial, especially for the parent or the teacher or the individual that's not quite 100% sure whether they want to go with Minichess. The Minichess guide just gives them additional info on what Minichess is, what they've done, awards they've won, and hopefully that then persuades them to go with Minichess. We've also spent a lot of time with newsletters. So whenever we can, and especially once a month, we send out a newsletter to our database. Now, it's important to know that people that visit our website and download our Minichess guide or fill in our contact form or registration form automatically gets added to our database. Now, from there, we share our important posts via newsletter, and we've actually gotten some of the franchisees involved to write letters and write little articles. On this newsletter, we can share crucial information on Minichess and all the other companies and individuals. We can share good news, and then what's even better, it's shareable. So whenever it gets into the inbox of a person, they have the option to share it to someone that they might know. Now, as we know, everyone in our direct vicinity either has kids or they know someone who has kids. So if they can share the newsletter to one person that might actually subscribe or get involved with Minichess or get their kid to take Minichess classes through any of the platforms, including online, then it's a win for us. Now let's go to my personal favorite, which is LinkedIn. Now LinkedIn is a business platform, and of course it's not as massive as Facebook. But if you consider how much time people spend on Facebook just reading bad news and people's opinions on stuff, once you get to LinkedIn, there are a massive business and corporates and business coaches that you can learn from. Now, it's important to note that social media is not only a lead generation platform, but it's also a trust building platform. It's a networking platform. And that's one point that I really want to bring across to you guys today, is that you might feel as though you're not getting the reach on your personal LinkedIn pages or your personal Facebook pages as you might think. But what I want to tell you is you are busy building credibility for your business. People that want to do business with you, let's say it's a parent or a teacher or even a school, will go do the necessary research to make sure that you are a person or a business they can trust. The first thing they're going to do is Google. The moment they Google you as a person or you as a company, and they see your information on Google and they can link it back to your LinkedIn or your Facebook, it gives you credibility. And that's the most important part about social media. It's not just about sales. It's about building a reputable brand and corporate identity. And that in turn and in time will create leads and will create sales. Considering LinkedIn is not as big as Facebook. Remember, Facebook has been there for a while. We've had a Facebook page for a while. And on Facebook, we've got close to 15,000 people or 15,000 likes. On LinkedIn, having only a couple of hundred organic likes. Now that means it is people that want to be on the Minichess LinkedIn page. It's not just friends and family. It's actual people that want to be there, that want to hear what we have to say. We have reached more than 14,000 people in less than 4 months. Now, this is incredible numbers if you go compare it, let's call it, if you want to compare apples to pears. We are very proud of that, and through that, it builds immense credibility on Google, and it pushes your Google rating up by a considerable amount, seeing as LinkedIn and Google are very, very close allies. Now, in the last month or so, you probably saw on social media that we had a very, very successful event as well. And this is going to become the norm in 2022 if we are permitted to actually get people into the same room together. But with this event, which was Women of Stature at the Anton Smith Sculpture Park in Bronkhorstspruit, we were able to raise more than 47,000 Rand for women in business that have been struggling. And this is through the Women of Stature Foundation. So we're very proud of it. Now, our plan is for next year to actually have more events like this, but specifically for the Entrust Foundation, that we can then generate funds to help more children in a disadvantaged areas. I hope that gives you a little bit more insight on what we've been busy with, and feel free to give us a shout, give us a call if you want further information, or if you need some advice on your own social media. You can also go to our website www.epdigital.co.za and fill in a contact form. You can see all the services we offer, and hopefully we can also help you reach your full potential. I just want to say thank you for your valuable time. Thank you for listening to me, and thank you, Marissa, all the franchisees, and the incredible, I call it the dream team at the Minichess office, for working so hard, to make an incredible 2-day symposium, well, actually 3-day symposium, and just enjoy the rest of your day. And if you've got any questions, go to our website, www.epdigital.co.za, and send us a message. We'll get in contact with you. We'll have a quick Zoom meeting. I love Zoom. And let's see how we can get you to building incredible digital real estate. I'm Emanuel Pietersen. See you on the flip side.